Hey, Chris Liepe here with the original studio multitracks for Deftones, Minerva. What a great song. A little bit of a departure from some of their heavier stuff, but the textures and layers are so wonderful. And a big part of what makes this song work so well is the way Chino's melody sort of surfs or rides along the top of an active band. We've got these long held out notes. We've got this sort of contemplative, pent up, angsty attitude from Chino with a very positive sounding, sort of give you a thumbs up band sound. It's a wonderful contrast, and it really works well. I've got a free course. If you are interested in developing your own vocals, if you like some of the things that I comment on here and demonstrate and unpack, and you'd like to take a stab at discovering what your voice can really do, click the link below and join my free voice course. One of the other cool things about anything Deftones is the vocal production. I'll be going over some of my insights on Chino's sounds as well, but let's start with the drums. Deftones drums are absolutely incredible. Do you hear the ring in that snare? Oh, it's just, soloing that out. Yeah, there's some good reverb around it. But a lot of times, we want to EQ ring out of snares, right? Like, oh, that's a pitch, that shouldn't be there. No, it really, and you hear it in a lot of other Deftones songs, that wonderful sound. Now, I will say that the snare ring is only in the snare mic. It's not really there. You got the lows, and they've got things mic'd in a way that brings that snare ring out in the spot mic. We'll get to some vocals here in a second, but listen to this bass. So overdriven. But it's got a lot of definition too, which I really, really like. Not exactly how this was recorded, but what it sounds like is that they've combined a clean signal, like a mic'd cabinet signal, with another signal, either direct or mic'd, that is more distorted, and then combined those on top of one another. That's how you get that spank with the distortion at the same time. Sometimes if you try to do that all in one signal, especially with bass, you end up getting this kind of wumpy, broken sound. This isn't broken. This is heated and fuzzy guitars. Thing I like about the way they've done these submixes here is they've isolated certain parts pretty good. You can hear in this backing stem. We've obviously got more rhythm guitars in this section, and then we've got, listen here, lots of synths. Swelly guitars. See that delay on the guitar, it's so cool. Now listen here. That sound, that synthy sound, I never really heard in the full mix. I just thought it was extra sparkly sounding guitars. It's wonderful to hear those by themselves. And then in the context of the guitars, it makes sense that I would have thought that they were guitars. You know, when you put everything else in there. And what I said at the beginning, where this band is sort of in this constant positive motion, positive movement, and then you've got Chino's melody, his vocals over it, it really sets up for a neat mixture and a contrast in a way. Let's dive into some of these soloed out vocals and pay attention to where he's doubling himself and where he's not, and also pay attention to the vocal effects. We'll get into the vocal effects in a little bit more detail later on in this video. But for now, just enjoy these as they are.
I get all numb when she sings it's over. Such a strange numb.
Not a lot of doubling, but you hear this delay where you might, in the full mix, think of it as doubling. But there is some doubling. Interesting production choices here.
And it brings my knees to the earth. And God bless you all for the song you sang.
So it is this kind of anthemic major melody, but the way that it's produced, the contemplative nature of it, it's just this wonderful sort of soapy water type sound. I don't know of another way to really describe it.
You're the same. No, when you sing it's over.
I gotta point out some neat performance things here. Listen to this section again.
No, you're the same.
Notice how, and Chino's really good at this, he starts out with this, hey! It's a sort of raspy, hey! And then he winds it a little bit. Starts out raspy, and then brings it into full tone.
You're the same.
You're the same. Really interesting. Now, I'm exaggerating what he's doing, and I don't sound as in context or as good as what he's doing. But trying this kind of thing with your own voice, take one note and do it in multiple ways, even over one word. Really cool and interesting. He does it again here.
No.
Even there. No. Notice at the very end. No. As I go down in pitch, I have less rasp. I have a more of a direct sort of belted sound. And of course the double here makes it kind of cool.
No.
Because he can be no on one and then no on the other one. And then the rasp comes in. Over. Huh. This is what makes Chino so compelling a lot of times with his melodies. They are always haunting. Part of it's the note and dissonance that he creates with the band, but part of it's this in and out of like, and Those are the technical terms.
Such a strange.
such a fry, such a strange.
No, it could bring back peace to the earth.
All over the place, right?
Bring back peace to the
Bring back peace to the earth. Wow, so much going on that you don't necessarily internalize unless you're listening in this context where you have just the voice that you can really dig into. I also think it's worth noting that this isn't one of those songs where Chino just goes nuts, right? But honing in on the nuances, even if he's not thinking about these so much, by us honing in on these nuances and then putting these ideas and mindsets and approaches into our own voice, we can improve immensely. You ever wonder why your voice is boring? It's because you don't think like this.
earth. So God bless you all for the song you sang us. Oh, for the hearts you break every time you moan.
Yes! I've said this a lot in other videos. Let your voice crack. Emote. Get into the moment. And if your voice cracks, follow it. I mean, that is the most wonderful example I've heard in a long time of something that really works.
Every time you moan.
Listen to it in context.
Every time you moan.
It totally works. It adds to the sort of auto fade nature of what's going on in the track, in the whole track. Also, notice back here, notice the quivery nature that he introduces.
Us.
He's on the very edge of his vocal break, and it has this worried, anxious, uncomfortable thing going on, even in the midst of his really sort of resolute pitches.
I get up. No.
Love hearing the breaths and stuff. Notice the use of fry there at the beginning.
We're the same. No.
That off mic entrance.
We're the same. No. And it brings our knees to the earth. So
That was cool. Another texture there. Listen to how he goes from all the rasp to clean to then this sort of compressed higher chest.
and it brings our knees to the earth. So
To the earth, knees to the earth. Really cool sound. That is vocal compression. I've talked about this a lot in other videos. Sing the pitch clean, and then lift something heavy while you try to keep the pitch in the same place.
oh, God bless you all for the song you sang us. Oh, for the hearts you break every time you moan.
cool swelly thing. I don't know if that's a mic proximity or if that's fading in post-production or what. Sounds like a little bit of both. But notice the imprecise pitch. It's like we have one of him going, ah, we have another one going, ah. Let's listen to it in context. You never hear that level of detail in the mix.
And God bless you all on the earth.
Cool. Ooh, that synth back there. You more sense than hear. Let's talk a little bit about the vocal effects that he's using. I've done another video on My Own Summer, the isolated vocals, where I go really deep into ways that we can use modern DAW stuff to create what they did on that song. I'm going to do a similar thing here. This is a little more basic and accessible, which is why I'm excited to show you, because I'm not postulating or guessing as much. I'm more just giving you a few tools to experiment with your own voice. So what I've done here, I've pulled up the Waves Sheps Omni channel. The first thing that we'll notice is that Chino's voice is not full bandwidth. In other words, it's not like this. La la la, la la la. It is, there's the lows taken out of it, and there's actually some highs. It's band limited. Now we sound a bit more band limited. It's not exactly what he's doing, but it's close. And then we've got, even though we've got the highs band limited, we've got a high shelf, a little bump up in the high end, and then we've got a little bell curve where we're bumping up this sort of speech level sound. And it's the sibilance, but not the real high sibilance. The stuff that you'd hear if you were talking on a telephone. It's that kind of sound. We've got a little bit more of that. And then we've got some saturation, which could be any number of things. And it's probably a combination of things. Tube breakup. And tape breakup. This was recorded on analog tape initially. And, on other versions of Deftones songs, they've even used like really cheap tape recorders to get tape distortion. I don't know that they did that here. And then we've got some additional compression. And you can see I'm really clipping the plugin out. But it doesn't matter. It's designed to be really hit hard. And then we've got a couple different things going on with the ambience. We're going to start with the delay. I've got this timed to eighth notes. If you listen to Chino, that's the same tempo. I've got it timed to eighth notes with a tempo of around 62 beats per minute. I tapped that out. Then we've got a couple different reverbs going on. One. Hey. 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 A short reverb. And then a more immersive reverb. More of a hall. All of these things, and here I'm just using basic Manny M reverbs by Waves. I'm using a room reverb for the short one. And then I'm using a medium hall. And I've cranked the highs a little bit, brought the highs up just a little bit on the hall to give us that sort of washed out sound. Let's go back to the delay though. If I sing a line,
brings my knees to the earth,
brings my knees to the earth,
brings my knees
bring this delay up a little bit, but more importantly, EQ the delay. I've got a little bit more body, but this is not a full body delay. Hey, no. Test. This is a mid-frequency boost and band limited like his main vocal, but even more so. So let's bring this delay up a little bit in this section. Brings my knees to the earth. God bless you. It's fun to try things with your voice. What I love about having this is I can improvise over the actual track with the effects. I could even cover a song, but I'm not going to now. I'm just gonna feel the mic and the effects. So fun to be inspired by the production, the delivery, and all the other nuances going on in the track. Hope you've enjoyed this breakdown. If you have ideas for other songs you'd like me to break down, I'll see if I can get a hold of these isolated multi-tracks. Again, if you want more help dialing in your voice and vocal production and production in general, the best place to start with me is joining my free course linked in the video description below. We'll see you for more.